What up, everybody? Welcome to another enthralling episode of Murder We Spoke. Today we got a mystery supported by Miss Rachel.
Hi, guys. Welcome. I have something new today.
Yeah.
We're trying out something new.
What? Mystery today? Shit, even though I said it. What? Oh, God.
Yes, we're going to be throwing mysteries in and,
Into the
switching
mix.
it up. So today we're going to be talking about the Mary Celeste.
Yeah, like the pizza place.
Yes,
The
just
Celeste
like the
pizza.
haunted pizza place.
Oh.
It's one of the well-known ghost ships that
Bruh,
they
it's like
still
Scooby-Doo.
can't explain. So it's called a mystery floating at sea.
Wow.
And it's been almost 151 years. It'll be 151 years this year
This year, baby.
of them not being able to find out what actually happened to them. It's well known because the guy who wrote, don't quote me on this, I don't know his name. The guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes
Yeah.
actually wrote a short story based on this. He changed everything though. Nothing he wrote in his book was
That way there is no likenesses. He can't get sued
no.
for...
No.
Wow.
It was like 20 or 10 years after the fact of it happening. And he made it like one person survived. It was their key witness. They never found anybody. So
Wow.
let's get started. Okay. So do you know anything about this before I start reading?
The only thing I know, there's another big 151. You know what that is?
What?
Pokemon.
Gotta
I thought you were going to say the drink in front of
No,
you.
Yeah, I was
there
like, 151.
There is that. I mean, once Mew came into the mix, that was it.
That was it.
OG 151.
Game over.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, so the Mary Celeste set sail from New York Harbor on November 7th, 1872, and it was going to Italy. It was carrying...
Oh, the salami place.
yes, Genoa,
Genoa.
Italy, okay, where they make the salami.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's where I got mine.
on board was his wife. They said it was him. The captain's name was Benjamin S. Briggs. His wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, along with 8 crew members, whether they were hired or not. Benjamin was known to be a very good captain, very fair, paid fairly. Like, I'm just going to throw this out on the table because there's a lot of people saying, I'll explain it a little bit later. I don't want to spoil the story.
Sounds cool.
But just to make it clear, he was very, very experienced. He was a captain for like a couple of years. He knew he captained like 5 ships or something like that.
Like
he
very
knew what
experienced.
He was doing. He knew what he was doing, and it was a long trip, but he had done long
So
trips
many
like
other
that.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used like, all right, this is a cakewalk for me.
Yeah, and he even was so confident in his sailing that he brought his wife and kid with him. So that wasn't very common. As you know or don't know, it's like a myth saying
Usually
if you
the
bring a
wife-
female on a ship,
Oh,
it's
that's
bad
like,
luck.
yeah.
Well, in this
At the
case,
time,
in this case, it might have been.
bruh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's like that old-timey fortune where even like luck is chauvinistic.
yeah, and it's just very. There's just some stuff that
Misogynistic.
there's stuff that happened to this ship that actually is kind of like, ooh, that's spooky. All right.
Yeah.
But, let me get back before I spoil anything.
All right.
Okay. So also on board, there were 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol.
Bruh.
So there was a lot of,
So like rubbing alcohol, like really, really strong alcohol. Not even like drinkable.
not even drinkable, but
Damn, that sucks.
yeah. So then less than a month later, on December 5th, a passing British ship called De Grata. Yes, De Grata or Gracia or whatever. I couldn't pronounce it. I was like trying to reread everything to last night, and I was like,
right, but it looks right. It sounds like Latin.
Yeah, so like, please forgive me if my pronunciations are incorrect. I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't know Latin. I'm dumb.
Yeah. So they spotted the Mary Celeste. You're good. We're hand in hand, Matt. We're holding hands on this, trying to pronounce things and make it accurate.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It was 100 and something years ago.
That's when people were like educated.
Yeah, exactly.
Our education comes from Instagram and TikTok now.
I never went to school. I never even graduated second grade. Don't worry about TikTok raised me.
I can't wait for TikTok you. Anyways, back to the mystery.
All right, so
Great.
on December 5th, a passing British ship, this is all, so in Britain, called Delgrada, we went over this, spotted the Mary Celeste at full sail adrift about 400 miles east of, pardon my pronunciation again, Azores or something like that, with no sign of the captain, his family, or any of the crew. The cargo was the same except 9 barrels of alcohol were missing. Empty. The barrels were empty. Let me specify.
I wonder if there's like another ghost ship because everybody thought it was like drinkable alcohol.
I wonder
died.
I wonder if they did think it was drinkable alcohol and what would happen to you if you drank that kind of alcohol.
You die. That would be it. That's like isopropyl. If you drink even like a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, that's it. You're complete.
Yeah.
I can't even say like the exact amount. I'm not sure, but I always remember hearing that isopropyl doesn't process the same as regular like ethanol. Mm-hmm. And so since it processes a lot stronger, like even maybe like a shot, I'd say, just to do a rough estimate, would kill you.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Oh, yeah. That's the easiest way. Like, why doesn't Mario just be like, here's some alcohol I made you.
do you want it?
It's all rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. And the strange thing about this was that when they went on the ship, all the crew members' equipment was still in their bunks. They said the logbook was there, which we'll get to a little while. And also, I don't know if I put it in here, but they had 6 months worth of food and water still on the ship.
That's weird. So even if somebody stole it, I mean, besides the alcohol, you'd think you'd want to grab the food too, because after you drink alcohol, you're going to get the munchies.
This is from the account of the ship members that found the ship.
I blame
There was something suspicious about, suspicious enough about it that we'll get to what actually happens. So this ship finds. Eventually, they'll have the name of the guy who ran the ship, and they were friends. They knew each other. They actually had dinner before both of the ships left. They were good friends. So then they found the log that was dated for 8 a.m. November 25th. Gave the Mary Celeste position, time and 6 miles southeast of Santa Maria. And pretty much really close to the island where they could see the land. That was the last time it was logged in the ship. You think if they abandoned ship, they would have wrote abandoned ship in the log. Yeah. There was not really much damage to the ship. When they inspected the ship, there was only several feet of water in the hold and a missing lifeboat. So they're like, all right. So maybe they just abandoned the ship.
They bounced.
Yeah, and like I said, they had 6 months of food and water. So,
which is surprising that they didn't bring any food, or they might have taken food, but they're like, we can't bring all of this on the lifeboat.
But the scary part is you have to think about this captain is experienced. What happened that scared this captain to the point where they left the ship?
Sea monster.
It's in the middle of this. It was like November.
I blame the Kraken.
They said that the water wasn't like in November. They said the water was very choppy. It wasn't. It was cold.
Lifeboat with that.
It was cold. I mean, nowadays you don't want to be in the water in November, let alone back in the day, 151 years ago. So they don't really know. But Mary Celeste had a dark past.
What?
It had a past.
Was she a pirate?
No.
Oh, shit.
No, the ship itself was active before this guy got on.
Oh, I thought it was the wife.
No. Mary Celeste is the name of the ship. The ship is named Mary Celeste.
Pass.
At that time.
Was she built from like the cross or something? From
Maybe. They don't really know, but this ship has...
Very specific thing they want to build a boat out of.
Yeah, they're like, we found this great wood. It's been around for like
It was made at a
centuries."
haunted house.
Whoa.
It was... No. No. So... The original name of the ship was the Amazon.
Oh.
And it was given a new name after a few mishaps happened.
Man, so
before
Jeff
then.
Bezos found out time travel, huh?
Yeah, he named the ship Amazon, and now you know he's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Don't buy from Amazon. He's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was trying to do his 1,000 shipments of isopropyl alcohol, so that way their Amazon shipments.
It also didn't say who
stock.
they were shipping it to or
Amazon
what the
Prime.
purpose of that alcohol was. Like, they just kind of were. It was so long ago, and a lot of the information they have, the one investigator who we'll talk about in a little bit, he had this blog book that he had, and they did have it up until like 20 or so years ago when it just went missing or damaged, and they don't really have much information about it.
It's like a conspiracy.
So it's like it actually happened because I'll explain in a little while why they actually know it happened, and these people did go missing. So its name was Amazon. Imagine an Amazon truck floating in the water.
Yeah, they were already
delivering your
preparing for
packages.
COVID back in those times. OGP years ago.
So the first thing that happened that was bad that's recorded. They did say that there was other things, but these were the most weirder ones. The one of the captain died of an illness, very suddenly, and then he died. The next thing that happened was that ship collided with another ship in the English Canal, and then eventually, this is after the story. Eventually, the ship would sail for 12 years, and then a captain deliberately ran the boat aground in Haiti so that he could attempt to collect insurance. It was insurance fraud. And then he was charged with fraud and then died shortly after that.
I can't believe how long insurance has existed.
Yeah. So as I said, 12 years. This boat, after this incident, 12 years. Survived. 12 years. So it's just odd that there was nothing really wrong with the ship other than like a few things, which I'll mention a little bit, a little while later. It was just simple things, but what would make a captain abandon ship? You know, like what would make him leave all of the goods that he's delivering? You know,
Insanity.
and his kids. He had a 2-year-old kid. You know,
Maybe he was schizophrenic and didn't know it.
no, they said he was like respected. He was like a respected captain, and that he knew what he was doing.
Maybe he drank too much seawater and it made him crazy.
Yeah. So we're gonna loop back
Okay.
to the people who found the ship. I made this title. Very good
What if the
title.
person that found the ship just murdered everybody and was like, oh, better drop a lifeboat? And they're like,
Exactly.
oh man, the ship was empty when I got here.
That's the thing. We really don't know. So, well, it's unfortunate what happened to Mary Celeste, but free ship though, right?
Yeah.
That's you know. So we're gonna loop back to the captain that found the ship. People, this is one of the theories about what certain people think. There's no evidence of this. There's actually some contradicting evidence that this would even be the case. So sure, that's what the crew of the Delgado thought. They sailed Mary Celeste about 800 miles to, not even going to try that name, Gibraltar? What?
Oh, Gibraltar.
Gibraltar.
Yeah, that's like an
There
old
you go.
classic name. That one I actually do know how to pronounce.
There you go, Matt. Matt is my translator
TikTok
for
you.
today. Matt is my excellent translator.
We'll see about that
if
one
there's
once the
one
comments start
thing-
rolling in.
If there's one thing I'm bad at, it is pronouncing names of places. So we're gonna keep going. So they brought Mary Celeste in 800 miles.
Yeah.
They towed it in. So there was this thing back in the day that if you found a ghost ship or just a ship floating, if you brought it in and it was insured like a car, you would be able to claim that money.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's sick.
And it was a lot of
Does
money.
that still exist?
No.
Damn it.
No, but at the time,
Ghost ship hunting for me.
because people would buy it from the insurance company again and reuse it.
That's nuts.
So they brought it in hoping to salvage payment from the ship's insurers, because you have to get your ship insured like your car.
Yeah.
To be able to sail
It was like
out.
2 doubloons a year.
It was better. So you would be able to pay the person that you're delivering their package to another person. You'd be able to pay them back for the goods that were lost.
That's nuts. How did the insurance companies float by back then?
Don't know.
Bruh. Nautical joke. Not really.
It was like, if you deliver this, as far as I know, you deliver this and we'll guarantee this payout, but you have to pay the insurers back, kind of thing.
How do you
I don't
get
know how
back
that works.
from delivering a ship?
They get ships for. So what happens is you deliver a ship, that insurance company owns that ship and they resell that ship. So what is the likelihood that you're going to find a floating ship? I'm sure it was not uncommon.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
like
sure it
it's-
wasn't frequent, but it wasn't uncommon.
I feel like it's a lot more common then, because you got like stuff like this happening.
Yeah.
Plus
and-
the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes. And so, like I said, as per laws of the sea, the abandoning ship did now belong to I don't know if I named him. His last name was Morehouse, and he was the captain who found the ship. So legally, I was wrong about this. Legally, he owned the ship because he found the ship.
That's pretty cool.
So, that was, it was his ship after all. So there are theories. Immediately when they brought the ship back, immediately their eyebrows rose. Like, they're like, what? How did you just bring an empty ship? You just found the ship empty with 6 months worth of food. They took nothing when they got off the boat. It was very
like 9
suspicious. It was almost like nowadays you giving in like an insurance claim after somebody like goes missing. It would be like that suspicious.
Yeah, it sounds like that person was not just a captain, but a pirate.
Yeah,
and
there is some
threw these people overboard.
There is some contradictory things that would make him be less suspicious. So this raised eyebrows to the British Vice Admiral Court, Frederick Soley Flood. Ironic.
Him with his powdered wig on, being
Yes.
like,
That's exactly what it was. He was the main investigator.
foul.
He suspected something about this case wasn't right, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. According to Captain Morehouse, which is the guy who found the boat, the crew of the Dugata just found the Mary Celeste in solid condition, sailing itself. All things considered, it certainly looked like the crew of the Dugata had murdered everyone aboard the Mary Celeste, dumped the bodies at sea, and sailed the stolen ship and its cargo to
Gibraltar?
Gibraltar in order to claim the salvage parts. So this is what this looks suspicious. That's what he's saying. You are going to get all this money from the insurance, and you're also going to get to keep the boat. And you also, I would guess so. It's now your boat.
That's pretty sweet.
But he also had a boat of his own. So
Good
you have
deal.
to remember that. So, according to Mr. Soley Flood, the salvage inquiry, there was no evidence that this actually happened. There was no evidence that any of that happened. So they ended up doing an inquiry about it for, I think it was like 7 months of doing like hard, as much as you can back then.
Yeah, investigative
Research,
work.
Investigated. They didn't find anything. They never found the boat. They never found any of the people. So they're like, all right, it sucks. But, so here's the thing.
Was Morehouse respected as a captain?
Yes, he was too. They were actually really close friends. It would be like, Alex and Matt. It would be like that. They had dinner together to wish each other farewell. They had nothing but admiration for each other. Also,
That's so weird that the best friend stumbles upon the exact ship of the best friend.
They actually moved course. So they got off of the course that they were on because they saw the ship and they moved off course to see what was going on.
That's so serendipitous.
I
That's
know.
like,
No
what are the odds? The ocean's huge.
Yes, there's no coincidences. So the thing is, the twist I'm going to throw in here.
Yeah.
People said that this proves that he didn't do it at all.
Yeah.
Why would he do this to a ship that he put money on? He actually owned shared properties in the ship. So he already owned the ship. He already owned half of the ship. He owned the ship.
What a great excuse.
He owned the ship. So they said he would have gained nothing from this scheme. The theory also failed to account for the fact that the theory failed to account for his wife and daughter. Like, it's like, of all of the times that he sailed, like, why would this be the time that he would do that? You know, because they were both on the sea at the same time. So it was like, and from what I read, I think his wife and kids were also on the boat. So like it's like, how would you cover that up? You know, and the amount of money that they all actually got eventually, I'll show you, wasn't
a lot
of money. In today's money, it was like $850.
Maybe they were in on it as like an insurance fraud, and the captain of the Mary Celeste jumped overboard, went to like a desert island.
Yeah, but
not
there was
like
no
ice
money
cream
paid out.
island, but a deserted island.
But there was no money. There was no money paid out to like the family. It was like it would only be paid out to you as an individual or your wife.
The money, thinking that it was going to be a tidy sum.
But it actually was a lot of money, which we'll go over, of how much was actually insured. It was like today's money. It was millions.
Whoa!
So the captain
I'd go for
and
that tidy
his
sum.
family both disappeared.
They all disappeared.
Was there any like? How is their life? Were they good?
No life.
Were they like trying to look for like an escape, like a new life?
No.
Let's start over.
They said they were, by all counts, they were all respected. There was nothing that they could find that why they would,
wacky.
you know, what happened.
Maybe he was tired of sailing. I can't imagine being on the water all the time is great.
Let me go on a lifeboat in the middle of the sea.
Yeah.
So the guy was
I'm done.
the guy was still very suspicious, the detective, and the insurance company was still very suspicious.
Yeah, they all want to shell out all the
So
money that
they didn't.
Bo was
They
insured
didn't.
for.
They did not shell out as much as you would have thought they would.
A tidy sum.
So they weren't fully convinced, and as the Delgrada received only 1/6 of the Mary Celeste's $46,000 insurance
1/6?
policy,
What the hell is up with that?
$1 million insured for. So they only
Yeah,
paid
then
out
why they only
1/6
pay out 1/6?
because it was like by law you had to pay. I think you had to pay out some. So 1/6, which means that each crew member walked away with $830. Buy yourself 2 suits from the Men's Warehouse. That's all it is.
Technically, at that time, what is it? It's like, a suit costs like 1 doubloon or something. You could buy 860 suits for that.
Yeah, you could literally walk away, maybe buy a buy one get one suit from
That
Men's
one,
Warehouse.
you're showing the U.S. dollars there
That's
right
US
now.
dollars, so that's how
I would
much
be
it is
satisfied with that. I'd be like, all right, dude.
So it was this much back
Invest
in the
in
day. It was
genius.
46,000. But 46,000. So every $100 back then. Every $100 back then was equivalent to. Do you remember, Tony, how much it said? $100 was equivalent to $1,000 back then.
That's
something
pretty
like that.
crazy.
So that's a difference between our inflation.
Man.
So they didn't really walk away with like anything worthwhile. So people are like, well,
happy with
they
now.
didn't take anything off the ship. They didn't really gain anything from it. They were friends. They were like, there was nothing that people could see that they would have gained anything from. So it's like, it's different if you're going to like gain a lot, but the guy already owned half the ship. That's why he brought it into dock, was because he owned the ship. He was like, why would I want to leave the ship afloat? I own half of the ship. So, all right. So now we're going to get, this is all the facts that we do know.
mystery.
There was an issue with the pump. I'm not a sailor. I don't know what that means.
A pump
there was a
on an
pump.
old ship?
So there was a pump that pumped water out, I think it was.
How do they do that? I'm still
don't
thinking of like a wooden
I know.
ship.
I think it was like rubber. I think you got to think about like rubber. I don't really know. But
Was this like a metal ship?
No, this was a wood ship.
That's what I thought. What are they
This
making
was
a
wood
pump?
ship.
There's a guy with a bucket.
Yeah, it's literally.
His name was Pump.
They call.
Don't know what this means because I'm not a sailor.
Yeah.
I have no clue what this pump was for. But they did mention that something, they do mention it in one of the theories I'll bring up.
Yeah.
They did mention that this ship used to be a coal ship and used to carry coal. The soot from the coal, they think, blocked
The pump.
the pump. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So let's just, we'll get into the theories now.
I'm so curious about what the hell a pump is on a wooden
Yeah.
ship.
I listed the most realistic theories because there are some theories that, like, they're not realistic. Like,
Aliens.
yes, like stuff
Damn
like
it,
that. So I got
there goes
rid of all
my
the
Reese.
mumbo jumbo,
Yeah.
and I was like, let's get to the point because the three main theories, which I'll circle one that they think they may have solved it, but they
Yeah.
don't. It's 151 years ago. They don't really know which one is going to end up,
Unless
Yeah.
unless
It's like
Jeff
they can-
Bezos goes back with his
Yeah.
time machine and solves a mystery himself.
Yeah. So
Oh.
the first realistic theories I put
Yeah.
in realistic theories
In
So-
quotations.
These are like the three, like, we can't figure this out, so
Yeah.
here's the three theories.
I love that. You could just make stuff up and put theory behind it and be like, all right, this
Yeah.
is how it went down.
There actually is a scientist, if you look it up, who
Yeah?
actually just did a study, just meaning like a couple years or now, I don't remember the date, that said that they actually think it's one of these theories, like, definitively. But, I mean, they still haven't found the people, so it's kind
Yeah,
of...
I'm surprised that science is like back in one specific theory when they can't even get like if coffee and eggs are cancerous or not. Every couple of years it changes.
No, they went over... So what they did was they went over the logbooks of how the sea was,
Yeah.
and they did like how the sea was that other sailors logged and looked at how the sea was at the time, and they're like, it wasn't good. It wasn't good for a couple days. They said it could have been making people sick. They could have just been like over it.
So seasick that they fell overboard.
No, because one lifeboat was missing. So they said people think they got in the boat. There was too many of them in the boat. The boat flipped over. They all drowned. That's really realistically what they thought actually happened, and they thought they were really close to the shore because they thought they saw it earlier in the day, and it's just a
Mirage?
really bad storm, and I don't know. So we'll get into. Oh, okay.
That's I got a picture of the pump.
That's a pump. Put the pump on the screen. That's a pump.
What's it do?
Yeah.
What's this
That's-
pump do?
that's
It pumps.
Pump.
What's it
does
pump?
stuff.
It pumps stuff.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
pumps.
Yeah, it's
Most
got those
definitely
Nike
pumps.
Airs that keeps the ship afloat.
They think
That's
the coal got stuck and the wood
Yeah.
from the ship got whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that theory.
One theory is theory number one, that treachery. So they think treachery. Well, treachery gets number one because it is essentially the prevailing theory during the actual salvage inquiry in 1872. Theories of treachery weren't limited to the Del Grata. However, other speculations have included piracy or mutiny, but they didn't take anything.
Wow.
Nothing was missing. I believe we can rule this out piracy, as nothing appears to be stolen. Why would pirates kill everybody aboard only to let a perfectly good ship laden with cargo drift off to sea? Mutiny also seems unlikely because all contemporary accounts, Captain Brigg was a competent, fair, and rational captain. It is also doubtful that he would have hired men he didn't know well when traveling with his own wife and daughter aboard. Because you wouldn't travel with people you don't know when you're putting not just yourself, you're putting your child and your wife at risk.
He just went on
was smart.
Bumble and was like, "Yeah, you look like you could cruise ship."
You look like you look like a pirate.
He just swiped all right
So-
for 8 people.
So it just makes
Don't
no
know his
sense
past.
in the way that he was a good captain. Why would pirates raid a ship and not take anything? The ship was perfectly fine.
Maybe they were terrible pirates.
No, but the ship was perfectly fine. There was no traces of blood. It wasn't like somebody got shot.
Maybe
you
they
can't
mobbed
get blood
the
out of
ship.
wood. Just saying. Not saying I would know, but
What if
You
it's
know?
like waxed wood or whatever? Because they got to be able to like preserve the wood to a degree,
You
or
wouldn't
like
see
a
blood, though?
polyurethane. Not really. Not
I'm
if
going to
it's
take
like
the time
treated
to
wood.
mop the poop deck
Yeah, you
of the
you
blood.
mop the poop off of the deck. I mean, if there's not
In
a
the
lot
storm.
of soot in the wood, then I guess it's safe to say that. I mean, the ship's got to be cleanable to a degree.
Yeah, it's clean, but like you're in the middle of a storm too. You have to remember this.
Maybe
It's
the
like,
storm washed away all the blood
I'm
and
gonna-
the sun.
True. I mean, we'll never really know, to be honest. So
It's a mystery.
here's the most realistic
Yeah.
theory that scientists have said that this could have happened when carrying this kind of cargo. So theory number 2, an alcohol explosion. So they said because they were carrying like pure alcohol.
Yeah.
They said the story goes that some of the barrels may have leaked noxious fumes. A theory supported by 9 empty barrels found aboard. These fumes may have built up by causing a small explosion, or at least causing the ship's crew and captain to fear an explosion. It is then possible that Briggs ordered a temporary evacuation so that all souls aboard could sail in a lifeboat behind the Mary Celeste while the vapors cleared. At some point, their tow line may have been detached, leaving the lifeboat behind while everyone in it watched the Mary Celeste drift away, leaving them alone and helpless in the vast Atlantic. There is no visible evidence of a cabin fire, though. This leaves open the possibility of alcohol fumes that never combusted. So they said that could have happened where they just watched it drift away, and they're like, well, but then didn't they not have
so
rows?
the barrels were empty. I thought they were stolen.
No, they're empty. Just empty.
Oh.
Yeah. The barrels were just empty. Whether it was, people also theorize that the people on board drank it and they got drunk and they
That
did
sounds like the
And I
more
go,
likely thing because they mistook drinkable alcohol
But then
from
why
not
would
drinkable.
they get
They're
off
like,
the boat?
because they're obliterated and then they died from alcohol poisoning.
All of them?
Yeah, because if it's not
On the
drinkable
boat?
alcohol,
Wouldn't you have found bodies on the boat then? Some of them?
you'd
There was
like to
8
think so, but if they're ridiculous
8
enough to be like, we gotta get off this boat and hallucinating and stuff, then they're all dead on a lifeboat somewhere.
They weren't, like you're telling me all 8 of, there was 12 people on that boat.
Yeah.
12 people counting a 2-year-old child.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, why would you
I
leave your
hope that
equipment?
I feel
know,
like people
like
do
it's
a
your
lot
own
of dumb
equipment.
stuff when they're drunk.
Yeah, I was like, it's
I
your
feel
own
like
equipment,
if this
though.
is the situation that they were like, we gotta get off of this.
For all of them. That's the thing. It's like you left the food, they had normal alcohol on the ship. You left the water, you left
Everything.
Like
That's a
it's
show.
hard to like. It is possible.
Yeah.
But it is hard to prove any definitive thing.
So, did they log that they had 6 months of food left, or was it just they
They found
the food?
it. They
so
counted.
is it possible they had like 9 months of food
Yeah.
left and they took like 3 months of food worth with them?
I think they log it before they leave.
Okay.
How much food they had. So if they did the investigation, they
Oregon
would have been
Trail.
able to find that food was taken. From what they said, nothing, not even a single value. There were apparently valuables on there. Nothing was taken. So they said it couldn't have been piracy. It couldn't have been mutiny because when you take items and then go to shore so you could be rich, if you're going to mutiny or take the boat. Usually mutinies just mean they're taking the boat, like the whole boat.
But if the alcohol exploded or anything.
But there was no sign of
yeah,
fire.
exactly.
There was no signs of fire on the boat.
Yeah,
So-
it would be more of an alcohol leak. I mean, even the fumes are bad enough that if you're inhaling it, that's like that thing that people used to do with like bike tire pump and a shot of vodka. They'd pump it all up, then they'd inhale it all, and they'd get
I've never heard of this.
obliterated drunk. Like,
You're teaching me things, Matt. Whether they're good or bad, I don't know.
that was a thing that was on the news. I learned it from the news. If you ever want to learn anything bad, watch the news.
Watch the news. It's all bad.
Yeah.
Just my kind of news.
Ugh,
right.
God.
I was gonna say with the fumes thing, if the fumes theory was accurate, then wouldn't they have seen that the ship did not blow up? Like if they were worried the ship was going to blow up?
They said they got detached from their towing line and they couldn't get back to the ship. That's what they think, and they were just left like. But wouldn't that mean they have a row? Because most boats have whatever. Okay,
but the waters were choppy.
Yeah, this wasn't the one. This wasn't the one that the people thought it was. The next one is the one they actually think it was.
It sounds like whatever it was, they did leave on a lifeboat for whatever reason that they thought they were gonna have problems, and then they probably just fucking the lifeboat turned over and they all died.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they didn't find any lifeboat, right? When they found a boat.
The lifeboat was missing.
Yeah.
So this next theory is the one that they actually think it is. So the next one is a bad pump, which I talked about. Looking at the ocean.
Scroll above to see pump.
Wow.
There it is.
There it is. The start of show.
What's it do? What the hell does this pump do?
So I'll tell you right now. Looking at the oceanography data, researchers found that the Mary Celeste was 120 miles west of where Briggs had thought he was, possibly due to a faulty timepiece. So they had clearly become disoriented. The day before the ship was abandoned, it was also changed. It also changed course, perhaps seeking some relief through rough sea. On its previous voyage, the Mary Celeste had carried coal in her cargo and had also recently been extensively repaired and renovated. The results may have been a pump that became clogged with coal and sawdust. This could explain why one of the ship's two pumps were found disassembled. Without the pump and with the cargo hold packed Tetris style, because it was packed very tight, with barrels of industrial strength alcohol, Briggs wouldn't have been able to tell how much seawater had leaked into the hull. We know from the 3.5 foot of water observed by the boarding crew that there had been some flooding, but Briggs would have been unsure of the extent. So yeah.
So the pump does water control? What does it do?
Yeah. So they think that he would have just been nervous because he wouldn't have been able to tell how much water was leaking into the boat. So he would have been scared, and he would have said, everybody on the lifeboat, this ship is sinking. As far as he knows, there's water.
Yeah, he just doesn't know how much.
He doesn't know how much, so that's frightening to be like, is this ship going to sink?
That's
Am I
crazy.
going to be able to get my
for it to
family
sink a little bit more.
No clue.
They have lifeboats.
Because his kid was on the boat.
And his kid and child.
But why are you jumping ship so early? If he's an experienced sailor and everything, I'd be like, I think the ship's got enough juice in it. I mean, it stayed afloat for this long.
Well, they didn't. The thing is, I feel like I think it was a combination of both things. I think there was very rough seas. They were disoriented. They were getting sick. Now the hull is flooding, and they're almost like, F this. It's not worth it. Get on a lifeboat. They sail. They don't realize how rough the water actually is. The safety boat tips over. They all die.
What if they made it to land and they started a whole new culture?
Because their culture changed so dramatically from being on the boat.
They were so different.
That boat changed them.
Don't you know this is a pirate community?
Matt, as your question, Rachel's pretty much right. All the pump does is it sucks water out of the ship and throws it overboard.
It's like a sump pump.
Oh, okay.
It's the modern day sump pump.
Yeah,
I was just so confused because they were talking about the chronograph and then they're like, well, water now. And it's like, what?
So what I think, I feel like they may have tried to fix it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were trying to fix it because it was disassembled.
Yeah,
so I
no,
wonder
that's
if
what
they
it
were
sounds
trying
like.
to
It
fix
sounds
it.
like
They
they
couldn't
tried
fix
to.
it. And they were like, this is hopeless. Nobody knows how to fix this.
Yeah.
We don't know where we are. We're trying to turn back. We have no clue where we are. We're now flooding in water. We have all this toxic fumes that could like possibly kill us.
Yeah.
Is this really worth the risk to risk my family?
So my thought process is they had two pumps.
Yes.
They took one apart because they're like, all right, if we could take this one apart, we could fix it. Hopefully we could adjust the issue. And if we get this one done, we could do the other one. They're both clogged already.
Yep.
So they take this one apart. They're like, shit, now we're down we're down a pump, and the other one's still not working, and we don't even know how to put this one back together.
Exactly.
So we have 2 bad pumps. Now we just have 1 bad pump and no other pump.
And they didn't have TikTok University at the time, so
I feel like it's one of those things. Yeah.
No, go ahead, man.
Where it's like one guy's like, "Don't worry, I got this." He's like disassembling everything without remembering how
to put it back.
Then he's like, "I don't have."
Johnny, this pump, you're not even putting it back together right.
Oh, you didn't put the spludger in with the water splooger.
I also feel like they saw land like a couple days from that.
Yeah.
Whether it was that day or they don't really know when they got off the ship or if they got off the ship.
Yeah.
I wonder, well, the last log was that day, so I'm guessing. I wonder if they saw land and they're like, we must be close to land. We're just going to get in the lifeboat and go to the land and survive, not realizing that they actually were probably further than they thought they were. And that they got overwhelmed or the sea was really bad or
They got into a fight on the boat for being like, "You
like getting
dumbass, you said we were too close to land."
it's like getting a lemon car but like on the sea, and now you're in the middle of the sea, and now your family's also with you, and it's technically the captain's fault that his family's with him because he invited the family. So now it's like, now I'm responsible for like 11 people's lives on the ship, and now like one safety boat, does that carry 11 people? 11 people?
No.
Yes.
Depends on the size
you
of the
would have had to do
maybe.
like 2 lifeboats or something like
Only
that.
one missing.
Yeah,
All
which
the
is
other
weird.
ones are accounted for.
So they all crammed into one, I guess.
yeah, but that's weird too. Why would they all cram
Could that
into
be
one?
that they crammed into one out of panic? Because that would make more sense to me if they were all panicking. They didn't have time to undo the other ship. They would like everybody get in the ship and they get in the water and it tips over.
Yeah,
And
you'd
that's
think you'd
why
wanna
you
bring
can't
2.
find them.
That way you have half of the people on each, and you have food, so that way you both have stuff to survive.
That's if you have time. For
It
some reason,
It sounds like they had time.
It does sound like they have time, which is
Yeah.
really funny because in my brain they just see like, oh, well, that pump's not working and the boat's filling up with too much water. Let's hop in the boat and leave.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't sound like, okay, this boat's going to explode immediately. It's not like where it's like speed or whatever. It's like,
I don't know because I feel like there's 2 theories that make me question.
Oh my god.
Whether it was the other captain who did it, because then you would just say, okay, cut the lifeboat down to
Just
make it
cut
look
one.
like they left. Not realizing 11 people can't fit in the
yeah.
lifeboat.
He's like, oh, damn it. I wish we cut another one loose.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
Well,
And I feel like in the panic, it's not panic. It's trying to cover up your story. Number 2, I think if it was panic, then it would have to be the gas thing, wouldn't it have been? That it was leaking. And that, I think it was a combination of it was leaking, but also it was flooding. They tried to fix the ship. They couldn't fix the ship. Like, it's like, I think it's a combination of
Sorry.
like panic.
Yeah.
Like you have your 2-year-old, 3-year-old child and your wife.
yeah. And either way, the captain's supposed to go down with the ship. Where's the captain?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
If that's the case.
it does sound like
He
it's
wasn't
like
old either. He was from the picture. He was pretty young. He wasn't old.
yeah.
He was experienced.
I was gonna say it does sound like maybe the pump wasn't working. They didn't know how to fix it, and they're like, "Oh, we're not gonna be able to save the ship. We can leave, but you know what? Let's try to collect the insurance money anyway on the ship because if it goes down, maybe we'll know where it is and we can get it back." And then that was maybe their plan.
Maybe the friend was like, oh shit, like this boat, all the alcohol leaked and it's starting to get bad, and you guys leave. I'm gonna try to fix this pump and get as much insurance money back as possible. Ah, shit, I can't fix this pump.
Hey, don't leave the boat yet.
There was no report of them like ever being seen ever again. Like even in any part of. And this was like
Well,
a
that's
pretty
like Amelia
populated area. Like it's like if they would. Like you're so known and like you're respected and like. I couldn't see somebody just being like disappearing, but like you have money.
I
You're
feel
able
like
to
it's
put
easier to disappear
$1,000.
then than it is
Oh,
now.
God, yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
But you have $1 million insured for $1 million. That covers that whole boat. That covers all the stuff on the boat. So you wouldn't have been in trouble if your ship sank and you survived.
Yep.
So what would be the reason of disappearing?
Stupidity.
Yeah, but maybe it wasn't the plan maybe wasn't to disappear. Maybe the plan was to go back and get the ship. That's why the friend knew where the ship was.
Yeah.
And then, but they ended up dying maybe when they went on that lifeboat.
I was about to say, I was like, wouldn't they have come back once they realized that they weren't going to give them the full amount if they were missing?
They probably didn't expect them to not get the full amount.
Yeah,
They're probably like, we're going to have this big windfall and it's going to be awesome.
And what is with this ship and insurance fraud? Why is this ship like, because 12 years later, we'll go back up to where I wrote here. It says, eventually, Mary Celeste would sail under different owners for 12 years before its last captain deliberately ran it into the ground as a part of an attempt of insurance fraud. He was charged with fraud and died.
He's like, if they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely we can. We're smarter than that.
Yeah.
person. They just ran into land. They make this ghost shit.
We don't even have to break the pump.
See,
Oh, shit, the pump broke.
Ram it.
I think that's what I love these kind of mysteries that are realistic mysteries. Like, they're not like mysteries that we'll probably never solve in this lifetime. Like, they're mysteries that like are just waiting to be solved, like that are on the sea, or like there's another one like the Medan. You know, they made that video game off of the Medan. That's
Medan.
That's a real boat.
Oh,
So,
what?
Yes, that went missing. That's another ghost ship that
right.
people see here and there. I don't think it's still floating, but
Isn't
But it was
that
a
game?
real
Isn't that
ship.
vampires?
no,
Did
it
the
just went
stuff.
missing, and people said they've seen the ship.
Oh, no, that was the game after.
So I don't know if I would consider this a The only reason why I would consider this a ghost ship is because there was nobody on it, and it was like very strange. It looked like they like just left there was stuff left on the ship that was suspicious. A ghost ship also is considered of people seeing a ship just like floating that has nobody on it, and it's just like there and gone. Like you think of a ghost. So
That's like our dad yesterday was talking about ghost planes and how a ghost plane is just a plane in which everyone's incapacitated, but the autopilot's still flying the plane.
same thing, except that there's nobody on the ship.
Yeah.
Ghost ship led the way so that ghost planes could fly.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting to me. I think the whole concept of like what actually happened to them is fascinating, because technically they could have all just been killed and dumped into the water. That's totally a possibility too.
I read this really great article. This guy was so funny reading it. He actually like had his opinions, which helped me shape my opinions also about it, and the way that I wrote certain parts of the script. He said, he goes, okay, so he was like, if you came here to find answers, I hate to break it to you. He goes, the waters were really choppy. They got in the boat. It was very cold in November. It's cold in November if you go out now, but could you imagine faring in like the 1800s in a boat? The ship tipped over. They all drowned. And the water was cold.
And they
So,
don't have hot hands.
They don't have hot hands. They don't
Nope.
have the stuff to put in their pocket.
Nope.
They don't have life vests. The girls are wearing really heavy clothes. Your clothes are very heavy. The water's choppy. And it is recorded that all of those nights had bad weather. You're sick. You're tired. You probably can't see anything. And most likely it was the middle of the night, because the last time they recorded was at 9 a.m.
Your crew doesn't know how to fix a pump.
You don't know.
And they probably hate the captain because they think bringing a woman on the ship was bad luck, so they're
most
blaming it
likely.
all on the captain and the wife.
Yeah.
I bet your kid is sick, your wife is sick, the crew is sick because getting really seasick. I think even the strongest stomach would get sick if the waves were hard enough. It's like a fact that the weather was bad. Like they went over and went over every log of like every person that like was around, and they went over the oceanography and were able to tell how the water was that specific night, and it wasn't good. And it wasn't good for, I know they did report that it was good at one point it broke. Like everything was great. And I go, but the calm before.
The eye of the storm.
So my theory is it's not so much a mystery for me. It's It could be. It could be a mystery.
You already know it's aliens.
Mystery. Aliens. Yeah.
Confirmed.
I think it's more of like it either was a crime or it was a tragic accident for me. So, and that's why I included it today because I think this could have been a crime. It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't have what they needed back then to figure out what actually happened.
Yeah, what is this ship still around?
Nope.
All right.
gone.
Well, then there goes
Gone.
any kind of DNA
And
testing to see if there's blood in the wood or whatever.
And most of the evidence.
Is the wood reclaimed? Is it in somebody's old house or something?
No clue. They don't know.
Damn.
I know a lot of the logs and a lot of the papers and the detectives' notes are all gone now. So they just rewrote them so they have them, but they don't have the
crazy.
actual like book anymore. It's 151 years ago. There's only so much you can pull from it. It's sad to say that this might just have to stay a mystery because it's like, how would you know unless you were there?
What if it's in the National Archives?
Could be. Could be. Could be.
I don't know.
Matt's going to become a national treasure. And break it.
Nope.
Matt's going to do it. Don't let him fool you.
No.
This is his job.
No, that's definitely not what I want.
He's pouring water on the Declaration of Independence and finding the mystery.
What do I look like, Nicolas Cage?
You are
I'm not
the
as
Nicolas
smart as
Cage
him.
of the real life. You like that disguise that you're not. You're probably like super smart on it.
No.
Matt, you got TikTok you, man. You're prepared.
Took me 6 years to graduate.
Matt, I
It's a
didn't
flex
even
people
Matt,
1 year.
Matt, I didn't even graduate.
Bruh.
So there you go.
Damn.
We're like
Oh.
one step, second step. But so moral of the story is wear your life vests. Don't go on choppy water.
Don't drink
Don't
alcohol.
panic. Don't drink alcohol.
Especially if it's not drinkable alcohol.
Don't drink alcohol. Don't kill your friends.
Don't commit insurance fraud.
Don't commit insurance fraud. Always stay intrigued to figure out the answers.
Always come up with a backup plan. Go down with the ship if you have to. At least
guy
that way
who
the
wrote
captain
Sherlock-
could be like, this is what happened.
The guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes is
You got
not
6
as
months
smart
of
as you
food.
think he is because he wrote it and still couldn't figure out. He was like, I read this to Tony last night. It was really, really stupid. He had a theory about what happened. He was
game
really,
theory?
really wrong. He was very wrong and it wasn't correct. He was like, it's the folly of men that blah, 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 blah. So, don't listen to him. His books are nice, but in theory, he's just a writer. All right. So those are all my theories.
Yeah? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun trip. We're gonna try to incorporate more mysteries. I found them very intriguing. I love true
mysteries are
crime
cool.
mysteries, figuring it out. So yeah,
That's everything? It's a wrap?
yes.
Oh my god. All right. Well, if everybody out there, if you got a mystery for us to like take a look at and throw our cockamamie ideas into the mix, let us know in the
Drop
comments.
it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments.
He's frozen in there, and that we're out here, and that he's the sheriff, and that we're frozen out here, and that we're in there. And but we're here. I know is where's the caveman?
Me too. Caveman is. Damn.
Yes.
That's nuts.
He's out there and we're in here, but he's really in here and out there and in the ocean and on a boat and in the cargo ship and he's hiding behind the
water's
barrel. And
choppy.
they're stacking the barrels.
Where's the
There's
captain?
and the captain's gone and we don't know where he is and we're all panicking, so we all drink alcohol and then we jump off the ship and we're like, we can't get back on the ship. There's no ladder on the ship. That's my theory.
And what does the pump do?
I don't know how to put the bump together. There's 20 different parts of the bump. How am I going to put the bump together? I have no idea. No
my
idea.
God.
And that's your mystery. You're welcome.
Yeah. There we go. We solved it all in one Scooby-Doo style chopped up. One YouTube poop segment. All complete. Mystery solved.
Mystery
everybody.
solved. Don't go looking into it. It's none
Yeah,
of your
that's
business.
it. And if she spoke too fast, put it on half speed on YouTube. You'll be all set.
What auto captions on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yes.
with that said, does that mean that was murder we spoke?
Yes, that was Murder We Spoke this week, guys.
Oh my god.
Thank you all for dropping in.
Whoa, dropping into hopefully not cold water in a lifeboat.
Wear your vests. Be good people. Don't murder your friends.
Like and
Insurance
subscribe.
fraud.
Hit that bell. Go on our Discord.
Go on the like, subscribe. You can pay anything you want.
Yeah, throw
Thank
your
you for being a
own
member.
solution to
I
the
need to
mystery
pay-
in the comments or Discord.
My bills. All right.
Bruh. We love you. Bye.